Hi. Dave's still playing music. Okay, so we are live and we're talking about keeping your phones ringing in your business. And in a couple situations, like when you're moving to a new location, you're renovating, or you're getting a new phone system. So, moving to a new phone system, we have some tips. And I have quite a few of them, Aaron. So I'm just going to have you, I'm going to pop them up on the screen, and then we'll just talk about them a little bit. So number one is choose a provider with experience. I don't know. Is that kind of self-explanatory?
Well, I think there's some credence to it too, though. Nowadays, there's quite a few new vendors in the phone real estate industry. VoIP technology has really leveled the playing field, and again, gone are the days of the big mod podtels kind of controlling the landscape. IT companies like DS Tech and others have the capability to provide full-fledged phone service support, you name it. So there are quite a few vendors available. I would certainly do my research and settle on a couple, make a list of questions, vet them accordingly, and make sure the commitment to the technology and support and service is going to be there year after year.
Awesome. I was just sharing our video. Okay. So choose one with experience. So you can find out. I mean, just ask them, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, have you done this before? Mm-hmm. Get some customer testimonials.
Right.
We have lots of testimonials we can provide. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next, communicate and be clear on your expectations. And that's, boy, I could say that for family, for mm-hmm. co-workers, and everywhere. Communicate, be clear. Yeah, in life, be clear and concise on what you expect from the phone system and from your provider.
I think this kind of goes in hand with the first one too, is if you choose an experienced vendor, they're going to have a pretty good system and process in place to account for all of these. I know when we engage with a business, I mean, day 1 through day 90 have all been detailed out, very clear, very concise. Next steps, what happens after next steps, what happens when you say yes, pretty much break it all the way down to, billing and thank you for business. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. What's my bill going to look like? Everything. So, and then I had another point here about designing now and saving later, which, is pretty much with any project. If you plan it really well, it saves on headaches later and time and money, because then you don't have to call for extra tech support, right?
Yeah, there's a lot that actually could go into this. Each business is different, so some have different needs. Some are able to actually implement a phone system to not only achieve savings from their current provider, but also to achieve additional savings, whether that be saving time or potentially saving cost for, say, a emergency service type scenario or a call center type scenario. We've seen some cost savings. Another, I guess, key piece here is the ability to provide to provide the end user of your business that easy to use experience with a phone system, so that they don't have confusion, which ultimately, if you do it well and you do it right, will lead to increased profits. Mm-hmm, certainly.
So it's planning the way your phone system works, where calls are routed, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. What extensions are set up. And as far as end users, you mean the people answering the phones, right? So plan on some training too, to get them adjusted to the new system.
Right, good point. So just I'm going to throw a few things in here, as I always do. Designing now, we have one of our customers, not a huge customer, but a good customer, opening a store, a business, an office in another town. They're expanding. So
Mhm.
you want to make sure that if you don't buy something that you can't expand on, right? You want to look into the future and say, hey, if we ever open another office or we hire more people, what's the expandability?
Yep.
And then
How easy is
talk
it? Too?
about the in like the first or second point there, talking about experience, etc. We've been doing this a long time. The benefit DS Tech brings to the table is a lot of the equipment you have in your building can be used for your phones. So we know all about your firewalls and your network switches, etc. So we bring that to the table because we've run into this quite often, actually, where someone calls and says, "Hey, I'm at such and such a business, and I need someone to make a change in their firewall or their switching or whatever it might be." Um, with us, we're that person. We already know where to go and what to do. So, I'm going to kind of toot our own horn here a little bit, but
Well, we're good at it. So, there's no denying it.
Right. We know if you're a customer of ours on the IT side, we know your company, us, our techs, etc. And so that's a benefit that we bring.
Absolutely. Here's a big one. So you can't call us right now and say, I need my phone system, my brand new phone system up and running tomorrow, right? So,
I don't think you can.
I don't think so. Maybe one phone.
Well,
I've seen
know.
I've seen Aaron and Steve do some miraculous things
yeah,
for people.
True.
Not so much Aaron, but I know a guy who can do some pretty good things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that kind of speaks for itself, right? You want to say something else?
Yeah, just to kind of touch up just real briefly on this. Most things do take time. Really, what you're looking at here is just some logistics, basically. If there's going to be any kind of hardware, there's an order process, there's a receiving process, there's an installation process, training for new staff. But kind of the big one that people don't really know about that happens in the background is the number porting. So the service goes from one carrier to another carrier in the background, but that's very timed. That's a very specific time date.
Yeah.
We can work around it quite often, but yes and no. I'd say if you're looking at a phone system with a good experienced vendor and you have a time crunch, 2 weeks, 10 days would probably be a pretty quick turnaround, maybe a little sooner. But more often than not, the whole process probably takes 3 to 4 weeks from beginning to end.
Well, and we got to keep in mind, too, that equipment is taking longer to arrive
Right.
when we order stuff.
There's a lot of moving parts. There's no other way to put it. To get this up and running, like you said, porting numbers out. It's just not a matter of saying, hey, company A wants these phone numbers from provider B. Provider B ain't giving them up without all the. I've seen some of the tickets come in. It's like you didn't, you had the wrong address or someone didn't cross a T or dot an I. Like you got to resubmit. So
yeah,
those are things that you run into.
Hey, now speaking of that, now what comes to mind when I'm thinking, okay, we got to move our numbers from one provider to another, but I'm trying to click show, go. We want to prevent downtime, right? So, is there any delay? I said keep them ringing because we want to keep our phones ringing, right? Because that's our business. It's our customers calling us. So,
quite a few things here too. We can always forward calls, or most vendors, carriers can forward calls. So if you're going to experience some downtime, or maybe you're doing some remodeling, it's easy enough to get a hold of your service provider vendor, and they can put a forward in place. That forward can go to another branch. If you have multiple locations, that can go to somebody's cell phone if you just want to be able to answer calls throughout that period. Or if you want to get creative, you can come up with a message, a playback message that could allow the caller to maybe have some options, or at least give them the information that you'll be remodeling or under construction for a day or two, and then call back tomorrow kind of stuff. So there's quite a bit there. Yep.
And honestly, we do that a lot for our customers. You know, closing today, nobody's in the office because, like the last year, what we went through, people went home, forwarding calls to cell phones. I mean, any number of reasons for doing this. It happens all the time.
We have
And you have a provider who can respond to this in time and get things done.
one of our restaurant clients yesterday remodeled, or is in the process of remodeling, their dining room, and we put a message on their phone system that said, "We are under construction and we will be back open tomorrow."
Yep.
Easy peasy. So 2 points that I wanted to make about keeping your phones ringing and reducing downtime or preventing it entirely is there's 2 things: redundancy and alternate ISP. Now, redundancy is a technical term. It means having a backup. So, right? Dave was telling me before we went live that our cloud service has backups. Right? Aaron?
Oh,
I'm not sure that's.
well, I thought you said Dave was telling you earlier. So
Dave was telling me earlier that, and I was asking you to verify and back me up that the cloud services, pretty much have backups and redundancy already in the cloud.
Correct. We do have, one of our platforms does have geo-redundant data centers throughout North America. I believe they have 4.
Oh, what does that mean?
Maybe 5. Geo-redundant means
Geo-redundant?
multiple in different locations, correct.
Okay.
So there's one on the East Coast, one in the southern portion of North America, one in the Midwest, one on the West Coast,
Okay.
and I want to say there's one.
So lots.
Oh, Texas, I believe, has one
I was
too.
going to say Texas, yes.
Yep. And what that allows us to do is to route our calls to any of the data centers, depending on any kind of national or, knock on wood, we don't have to, but any kind of event that would require the movement of all of the service from one to the other.
Right. And they
But
do send out, they send us notifications, hey, the Atlanta node will be down, and you don't even notice it. I mean, it's just like the internet, because we are using the internet, the traffic just flows some other way.
Okay,
Exactly.
now,
Yep.
What if the internet goes down, right? So that's why I put alternate ISP. ISP is your internet service provider. So I actually do have 2 at home. So if Starlink goes down, I have NMU.
I have 2 as well at home. Here's one of them.
Aww.
That's my.
I love that
maybe I should have
picture.
done this. That's
So,
my alternate, but that's a home user like you. But
yeah. But a lot of our business customers do have a backup
Right.
internet connection.
and it's generally seamless, or should be.
Mhm.
When your main internet goes down, it fails over, is the term, fail over, to your secondary one. And this happened not too long ago. Again, surprisingly, how often it happens. People cut fiber lines with backhoes very frequently.
I know, it surprises me too. I'm like, really?
2 days ago down around Petoskey, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all I had today.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. So get on our newsletter so that you can get some more tips in that. I mean, we share all kinds of tips in there. And it's a weekly newsletter. So.
We do have some other exciting news happening today, though.
Oh, yeah, we have a big cookout. I'm hungry.
We have a DS Tech first annual grill out today here in half hour or so.
DS Grill Out.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out if we have any live listeners or viewers right now, and I'm cordially going to throw this out there and invite you down. If you want a free hamburger or hot dog, come on down.
All right. Well, make it a great day, guys. Thank you so much.
See you